Welcome everyone to the raw and uncut version of this week's episode of the SellOut Show. You are going to love what Shawn drops on you as knowledge bombs this week.
If you can get over, if I could ever get a hold of myself. I had a little problem in the beginning of the video.
A little bloopery at the beginning.
Yes, but so here's what I'm passionate about this week. And Dianna, you brought some great insights to this too. Imagine if you were a football team and you only got to play defense. How much would that suck, right?
How many games would you win?
Right. Salespeople who are stuck in the rut of order takers. Maybe you didn't start out that way. We've got a new way to think about things, and we've got some help for you to get unstuck and to start playing offense.
Yeah, and there's a quiz. You know you're an order taker if. So enjoy the raw and uncut version. Here we go.
I know we did. I can't even hold it together.
All right. Welcome everyone to the SellOut Show, where we are always sold out. I am Dianna Guerin. I am the irreverent sales girl, and my mission is to bring a dash of dignity to the art of selling.
Hi everyone, I'm Shawn Carol Sandy of the Selling Agency, and I'm just trying to hold my shit together.
Okay, you can do this. This is Shawn Carol Sandy. She is the Chief Revenue Officer of the Selling Agency, where she coaches humans to sell to other humans because
I don't know.
Selling like a marketer is always a little awkward at first.
That's right. That's right. Selling like a marketer, marketing and sales, you're not always hitting the right mark.
So that's what our conversation is going to be like next week. That's a preview. But you had a couple ideas, Shawn, for today.
Okay, so these are actual conversations from sales meetings. That's where all our content comes from. All my vlogs, everything comes from conversations with business owners, business managers, sales teams, salespeople. So I was talking to someone last week, and they're in their sales position, an account manager. And they're just like, just trying to keep up. They're in a position where they get a lot of inbound leads. They've got to pre-qualify heavily, disqualify. And, the biggest opportunity for them for growth is actually from moving from the inbound to going out and getting business that's continuous, that has better margins, that, they're more loyal. They're not price sensitive. It's better cash flow. And so they're just like, I just don't have any time. And I said, you know what? What you're doing would be like you're a football team that is only on defense the entire game. You can only score on defense. You never get the chance to run an offensive play and try to score from the offense. Imagine how exhausting it would be always trying to win from the defense.
Yeah, that would be very difficult unless unless you're playing foosball and you get that one where your goalie happens to knock one all the way
Well,
across.
that's the point. Is you can score when you're on defense, but you know those games where the one team just gets obliterated because they never have the ball. They're never running the plays. Their defense is exhausted. They're always trying to maintain, to hold, to not let them pass, pass the goal. I mean, that's exhausting. But running offensive plays, you decide this is how we use our strengths. And so we're going to run this play and we're going to leverage these different assets. And that's what makes us awesome. And then we're going to try to score that way. It just occurred to me, I've just got to, in some of these instances, I've got sellers that are just always on defense. They're always reactive. They're always responsive. They're not able to actually run plays. And we've got to get them out of that.
Yeah, so I think you're kind of talking about the difference between inbound and outbound, but how important both of them are at the same time. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, absolutely. But it goes beyond that. I have, for instance, there's some account executives where they've got existing accounts and they're just so knee deep in it, they've become order takers. They're responsive and reactive to what's happening in their existing accounts. They're not even serving their existing accounts and maximizing them to the level of what they could, because it's just, over here. They're just being responsive and reactive and not making stuff happen. It's a trap, and you become an order taker.
So let's do a little redneck. You're a redneck if. So you're an order taker if. I'll go first.
Okay. Love this.
You haven't picked up the phone all week to call somebody that you've never met before.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
You know you're an order taker if.
You know you're an order taker if you have clients that you haven't talked to in 6 months because they didn't send you an order in 6 months. And you think, oh, I should probably reach out to them.
Yeah. You know you're an order taker if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say pipeline.
Pipeline what?
Pipeline what?
You know you're an order taker if you are fretting about pennies on the dollar and price. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you break this crazy? I mean, why? First of all, why not be an order taker? I mean, that sounds pretty good. If you can pretty much make your nut from just taking orders, then what's the problem?
Well, there's a lot of problems with it because tomorrow your best clients, the ones sending you all the orders, could shut their doors and you're totally FUBAR. It's game over. You have no pipeline. You're not even maximizing existing relationships. I'm going to tell you what, a lot of order takers don't even have that deeper relationships within their existing client organizations. If one person is sending you the orders, you're single threaded. So it's such a dangerous, tenuous position to be in. You don't know what's happening in your market. You don't know what's happening in your industries. You don't know what's happening with the rest of the clients that you could potentially have. And then you have no pipeline. And your managers get really nervous, or they should get really nervous because they can't forecast. And then their managers should get really nervous because they don't understand what does cash flow look like for us the next 6 months. Help! I have no idea, right?
Yeah, you have no idea how many people call me and say, hey, we just lost our best client and now we need you to start prospecting for us. And I'm like, okay, but you're 7, 8, 9, 12 months behind the ball and you're not going to replace that revenue very quickly. And they are freaked AF.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm not trying to be smug here, but you got to tend your pipeline as if it's your garden.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible.
So if you're a sales manager, I actually have a blog about this too. I'm gonna pull this up. You talked about something. I'm gonna pull this up because I've got a couple sort of. This is how you know if you've got order takers on your team.
Yeah. Well, so I'll talk to the order takers while you pull this up. So the thing is, it really is nice to get in there and service your customers and grow and expand accounts and all that stuff. But what I really want you to do is look at if you lost your top client, where would you be? How long would it take you to get to nothing? 6 weeks?
So say that again. How long would it take you to get to nothing?
Yeah, it wouldn't take very long to get to nothing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like having one client what is Eric Lundstrom calls it, single point of failure.
A single point of failure. I like that.
Yeah. So if you're not prospecting and I really believe that no one customer should be more than 15% of your revenue. So if you're looking at your pipeline as an order taker, are there customers in there that are over 15% of your revenue? Because if there are, it's time to start. It doesn't have to be hard. You can have some fun finding new clients, but you want to be finding new clients.
Here's how it happens. I think that what usually happens is that someone comes in and develops new business, and then it's success. And when we taste success, it tastes good. That releases dopamine, right? You talk about the dopamine effect all the time, and we're happy. And so we want to keep going back to that well because we know it feels good. It tastes good. And then we start to let that consume all our time. And we forget that it took work to get there. And we just want to continue that, what's easy, what's easier, what feels good immediately versus the longer tail of pipelining and prospecting and that kind of stuff. And not every sales position, like we have a lot of SDRs that watch. We have a lot of different, maybe your BDR, BDM, SDR, HMG, whatever.
HMG, whatever that is.
I don't know.
It's like, do the hard stuff. Like Sean
Right.
Kelsey always says, do the hard stuff.
But there's probably, I don't know what the percentages are, but there's a lot of people that are full account executives, account managers responsible for business development and account management. And if you are, you got to realize and recognize if you're a order taker. Here's the 5 signs that I have. And this for sales managers, listen to this and think about each one of your reps. Okay. They have minimal activities focused on business development and new opportunities. All their activity is centered around existing customers. I do this too. It's like, so who'd you go see this week? Oh, well, ABC. Aren't all those your existing customers? Yeah. Well, there's like this excuse, train that's woo woo, about why I only visit my existing customers. I'm taking my existing customers to lunch. We must show existing clients love. We've got to make them happy, but that's ignoring your pipeline. Number 2, this one for sales managers. And again, if you're a salesperson, let's do some self-reflection and stuff. I've found in sales meetings, this is the sign of an order taker, their conversations center around ops, not opportunities, but operations.
Oh,
they're talking about the wrong ops. It's, oh, well, this didn't happen. And, oh, this process is broken. And, oh, well, I can't make this happen until this. I started listening and watching this trend. And if you have a weak pipeline, they're going to sort of try to drive the conversation. Some of them don't know they're doing it, but they'll sort of try to drive the conversation around operations instead of opportunities.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's number 3. There's always a hurdle or major obstacle that explains why they didn't make the calls or set the appointments with new targets. Imagine, like, if you said to yourself, because you're your own boss, Dianna, imagine if you gave yourself all these excuses every week about why you didn't make the calls and why you didn't set the appointments and why you didn't hit your opportunities. You would fire you, right?
I would fire me. It would be, I'd be out of business. Out of business.
Yeah. So what I do is it sets off alarm bells for me if a salesperson's got excuses 2 weeks in a row. If it's 2 weeks in a row, I know there's something wrong. Wrong. Number 4, they emphasize discounting or lowering prices to keep current customers. That's a huge red flag. Huge red flag.
Yeah,
they're so desperate. They have nothing in their pipeline. Nothing. And they're worried about losing their existing customers because they're probably not even servicing them very well. Last, number 5, the signs of an order taker. They're hypersensitive about territories in their accounts.
Yeah.
Defending their stake in any business that's ever been on their list ever. We've all worked with people like this.
It's so perfect because, you may not know this, but I'm rewatching The Office, which I love. And I'm listening to this podcast called An American Workplace. You guys are doing a great job. But I'm like listening to them, do the podcast as I go episode by episode. So I got to the part where, Michael and the team go on, and Michael starts Michael Scott Paper Company, and he starts stealing the Dunder Mifflin clients. But anyway, so they all get reabsorbed. I hope I'm not spoiling this for anybody. They all get reabsorbed back into Dunder Mifflin, and they have to fire either Ryan or Pam as a salesperson because there aren't enough clients to go around. And I'm thinking, you may be an order taker if I'm like, prospect. Who are you prospecting? No wonder Staples and Office Max are eating your lunch. It's not only about, if it really is only about price, then you're totally screwed. And if it really is about fighting, like you're saying, fighting for those accounts that are yours, like a full pipeline cures all ills. These guys are not out jumping up the business. They are order takers. They're not salespeople at all.
No, they're playing defense. It's, let's try to hold the line, right? That's what defense does. Let's hold the line. They try to make plays. They try to, do conversions or whatever.
You're an order taker.
Yeah. But and it's exhausting. It is exhausting. So stop being an order taker. Go be a playmaker.
All right. So say you're stuck in the trap. How do you sort of unplug the drip and get out there? I know how I do it, but how do you do it?
Well, so if you've got someone who's this is habitual. This is a habit. They've been stuck here for a long time. Some people aren't going to move. I'm just going to say we've had to let some people go because they're not going to move.
Yeah.
if someone has potential and sees that is an issue and they want to move out of that, the best place to start is to start a referral plan. If you're spending all that time and energy with your existing customers, ask for referrals. Thank you. It works. We put it into action. What's your referral strategy? I don't know if we've done a show on referral strategy, have we?
No.
We need to. Oh, that's the best face. We're going to give Dianna a second. Hold, please. So have we never done a referral episode?
We haven't. Joanne Black would be very unhappy with us.
Yeah. I don't know. This is an old statistic, but they say only 11% of salespeople ask for referrals. That's crazy. So
we need to do that. It's crazy.
It is. So we'll do a referral show. But if you're trying to get back into the prospecting and your business development habits, start asking your existing clients for referrals.
Yeah. And we'll train you on another one how to do that. Just search for how to ask for referrals, but keep going. So that's one strategy to get out of it. What's another way to get out of it?
Well, I have all my sellers working on business development strategies called micro campaigns. I don't know if
okay.
So micro campaign is a defined target, a specific focus, a definite why, and a contained time period.
A definite why?
Why?
A definite why.
A definite lie. Your hair looks so good today, Mrs. Jones.
Talking about the lies we tell ourselves that are excuses. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Micro campaigns, instead of looking at, business development like this big, long, exhausting, never ending, I'm going to die, I'm going to go to my grave, like prospecting, cold call. Micro campaigns, a specific target audience, a defined or set amount of time we're going to do this campaign. What resources do I need? Why am I contacting them? And then you execute a micro campaign, get it up and running over 2 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever. And then take your prospects, what shakes out, move them to the next level, and then you start the next one. And so it's a chain reaction.
Yeah.
Darn you, internet. Okay. All right. So yeah, micro campaigns, referral strategies. You can do this. If you have been stuck and reverted to that order taker and you're like, I got no pipeline. I'm really scared, Shawn, Dianna. What do I do? I'm really scared. You can do this. You can get
But you've got to track your activity because you'll let yourself off the hook and you will think that you made 40 outbound calls. And if you actually really look, it'll be 5 because 40 sometimes feels like 5, but you've got to track it and you've got to hold yourself accountable to somebody else because you will let yourself off the hook. You'll be like, you'll be all, I didn't do that because I closed this other really big sale with an existing client and I just got caught up in servicing this other client. That will happen every single time. But there is time for your commitments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't let yourself off the hook.
And track it.
Awesome. All right. So great lessons today. How tired are you of playing defense? Really?
Yeah.
Would you like to score a touchdown instead of, just damn it, I forgot all the defensive scoring possibilities. When you sack a quarterback in the end zone, what's that called?
Shit. That's a bummer.
That is called a bummer.
For the quarterback. A safety.
Making interception and running in the end zone, that's awesome. Defense can score that way, but how often does that happen, right? Most people playing defense are being responsive, reactive, and just trying to hold the line. So go be offensive.
Go be offensive. We give you permission to go be offensive.
Oh God, I hope we've cracked you up as much as we've cracked ourselves up today.
All right. Well, stop hoping
and start offensively selling.
That's right. Bye.